Okay, so this is basically a race I did earlier in the week on Project Cars 2 with the IndyCars at Texas Motor Speedway. This is going to be a 50-lap race, and I hope you enjoy. I started on the pole, and I kind of sort of fell back off on the start. I didn't get as good of a start as I probably wanted to, but I kind of rode, laid back a little bit, and just sort of around with that. There. Get that map out of the way. It's not really working. All right. So anyways, I kind of laid back in second place for a little bit, just biding my time until I got a chance to make a move for the lead. I'm not 3 right now. And on the leaderboard, my you can tell where I am because of the yellow marker there on the side of the leaderboard. So just pointing that out, I guess. After about 5 or 6 laps, I was able to kind of get a draft off of the guy out front, and as you'll see in a couple of laps, I was able to, of course, pass him for the lead. Go to the top side. Now to make a move down the back straightaway to take the lead. And there's the pass for the lead, as I would lead my first laps of the race. Now at the beginning, I forgot to mention that there would be one pit stop that I would need to make during the course of this race. So at some point, I would have to come down pit road. I kind of got into the wall there and kind of fell back again. And of course, at this point, I'd lost the lead again, so I would have to battle back for that. And again, I ended up getting a run off of him on the front straightaway. Though I wasn't able to actually make a move on this lap, so I would have to wait at least one more lap. So I get a run down the back straightaway, hopefully using the draft to make a move, and using the car down there as a pick, and I would not quite make the make the pass here, so I would have to, you know, try to draft up behind him again on the next lap. We are currently on lap 13, and I am trying to make another move for the lead. So right here, I was able to get a draft off of him, and I would kind of move up the track a little bit to get a run off of turn 4. And of course, I didn't quite make the move there, but you know, that's kind of how Texas Motor Speedway works in the game. You kind of have to try and get a run off the corner and sort of draft up behind the guy and make the pass. So here I was able to make a move for the lead, going into the corner, kind of like what Graham Rahal did at Texas in 2016. So I was able to make a move there and regain the lead again. If you know it. And we're currently on lap 15, and at this point nothing really happens for a good amount of time, so I'm just gonna stop talking and just let it play out. We've reached lap 20, so we're closing in on the halfway point of the race. And as you can see, I think that's Graham Rahal behind the 29 car back there. He tried to make a move, but couldn't quite make it stick and sort of fell back a little bit. And he'll get passed by, I believe that's the 8 car of Max Chilton. So, alright. It might be worth mentioning now that I kind of had to go through like multiple takes to actually get this race in without crashing or falling or having some kind of technical issues or whatever. So there was one point in one of my previous takes where I had tried to pit earlier, but apparently the game doesn't let you do that. You have to go through your entire fuel run before you can actually pit. So I just had to ride through pit road, not do anything, And of course I ended up having to pit later in the run anyway to actually take fuel, and yeah, that was kind of infuriating, but you know, it is what it is. For this race, my fuel run was around, it was somewhere around maybe 45 to 47 laps, so I was able to sort of run that out and give as much and use up as much time as possible to just sort of ride around and build the gap to second place and give myself as good of a chance to possibly win the race as possible. Yeah. Yes, I can speak good English, guys. Yeah, you get the point. All right. And there's Ray Hall trying to make a move on second place Townsend Bell. That's the bright yellow and blue 29 car that's right behind me. Of course, the names of the actual drivers of these cars do not match the names that are actually on the leaderboard on the left. For whatever reason, Project Cars 2 does not list the actual names of the real-world drivers on the car. It's something strange, something kind of weird, but I don't know. They do list the actual names of drivers in the career mode, which is kind of weird, but yeah, just something I'd like to point out. As we are closing in on 20 laps to go in about 3 laps. Made a move on Pagenaud there, as he was a lap car. There's a little bit of lap traffic in this game, which is probably gonna be getting a little bit interesting in the next several laps. You'll see why. I mean, it'll just get interesting. Just take my word for it. Oh, there it is. Yep. See? All right. Spoke too. I don't know if I spoke too soon there, but it was okay. That was perfect timing. Let's just go with that. And yeah, somehow through that ordeal, I managed to keep the lead, and amazingly enough, that's not the last time that I'm gonna have to do that. Something like that's gonna happen. Alright. So at this point, I am obviously still leading the race with the 29 behind me by about 4.5 tenths of a second. It kind of drops down to around exactly 4 tenths of a second briefly, and then it kind of fluctuates at that point. So as I make another move on a lap car to take that position, get down there. Oh man, and there's the lap car business that I was talking about earlier. Yeah, and through that ordeal, I ended up kind of dropping to third. Now the reason that kind of happens is because the AI do not know how to get onto pit road when there's like more than 2 cars around them, so that's kind of weird, but yeah. And as a result of that, I kind of dropped back to third place, and I had to sort of run down the leaders again. So we're just gonna see how that goes now. We're coming up on lap 35 right now. Now I mentioned earlier, and you'll see me kind of swerving around a little bit. That's because my tires were absolutely destroyed at this point. My it was I believe it was the right front tire that was just absolutely destroyed at the end of this run. So yeah. That was fun to drive. Oh man! And at that point, I had made the move for second, and I'm still about 3 seconds behind the leader, which that really didn't matter to an extent because they obviously needed to pit, and they would do so in the next couple laps. And my pit stop will come a little bit later in the run, maybe about 5 laps from now, so just thought I'd point that out. For some reason, the lighting goes up. Okay. Sorry, I guess that was just a product of the Xbox controller, just kind of trying to go to sleep on me there. All right. And at this point, I am leading by over 44 seconds, which hopefully would have given me enough of a buffer to keep the lead once I made my pit stop. But unfortunately, oh, and of course I got into the wall there, kind of rubbed some fenders with that 29 car. And there we go. Coming up on about 2 laps before I needed to make my final pit stop. And coming up on lap 47, which is when I would make my pit stop. So just a little heads up there. Okay, I guess my mistake. That was okay. So it's actually the next lap that I will be making my pit stop. All right. I tried to get on the pit road right there, and still kind of sliding around a little bit, but I'd eventually make it to pit lane right there. All right. And this is basically how the pit stops go in this game. So, well. When actually running the races, there's an animated pit crew, but for whatever reason that wasn't the case for the replay. And yeah. Now, unfortunately, once I gotten off of pit lane, the leaders were coming up, and they would pass me right there, and I would eventually fall to 5th. So, yeah. And there's 2 laps to go, so there's not a whole lot more to say about this, except for the fact that the guy that's running behind me would kind of catch up a little bit, and I'd have to try and block him to keep that position. Again, at the moment I'm running 5th, so yeah. Here he comes up off the corner. I had to just block him a little bit, and then he kind of got underneath me, but I just sort of kept the run, and that's the end of the race. All right. Well, that's all I guess. So I guess I'll see you next time.